Hello, good evening. This is Darwin J. M. Alfaro, and this is my video reflection regarding our course, Computer Programming 111, or and I belong to the section PICS 111, and we discuss in our lesson specifically C programming. And so I will make this video following the list of questions our professors handed to us. And so the first question is that, or rather the second question is that, what are the topics that you like? Personally, I like all of the topics about in our lesson, but to be specific, I like the topics in arrays and functions. Why arrays? Because arrays allows me to do uh, complicated things that a variable cannot. Because in arrays, it allows me to store values more than uh, more than one values, and it allows me for faster retrieval of data. And functions allow me to make my own algorithm, although there are built-in functions to do such algorithms, such specific algorithms. But I believe that learning to make your own functions and making your own function is a plus in computer programming, because most of the programs are really user-defined functions, and within those programs maybe some of the built-in, some or not, if not all of the built-in functions are code. And so in making algorithms, functions are very essential, in a sense that it allows me or us students or programmer to compartmentalize uh, the parts of a program in a function, and not to clubber up my source code, because functions allow me to group certain kinds of operation of codes. And so the third question is that, what is your comment on the examples given in the class? My comment on the examples given in the class is that all the examples are very useful, in the sense that it helps us understand the lessons at hand, and it makes us wrap our mind regarding the lessons. And the examples are easy enough to execute in our own way. And also, the examples, those simple examples they challenge us to make our own program not simple, but a more robust and working program. And the fourth question is, what topics did you find difficult? Actually, all of the topic is difficult, but with a little bit of self-study and help from my classmates and my professor, I was able to understand most of the topic. And most difficult topic maybe in C programming and in C++ is that of the understanding the pointers. It took me a whole 2 weeks to understand how pointers work in C programming, because in because I learned programming before, not with this kind of not in this level of complexity, because I learned my first programming was Python and a little bit of JavaScript and a little bit of Java. And in those programming languages, pointers was not even tackled as I learned, and so it gives me a little bit of a difficulty. But as we discuss deeply the importance of function, I was able to understand it little by little. But only with practice that I was able to succeed in using functions, or I mean, in using pointers in my program. And so maybe that was the really the difficult part, I had. Did you seek the fifth question is did you seek consultation? Consultation per se, like a one-on-one appointment with our professor, I did not do that. But to be honest, I had approached her a couple of times, not to have those that kind of consultation, but only to confirm my understanding with her. Like when I asked her about the number of return variables in a function, because in C, any function with a defined data type should return something. So I asked her whether is it really limited to only returning one values, or can we return more than one values? And so that kind of consultation I did with her to confirm and to reinforce my understanding regarding the topic. And sixth question is that what are your recommendation or suggestion? My recommendation or suggestion for the whole course is that maybe uh, in a future lesson, maybe try to understand and make our own library files, because I think in our course we did not tackle that. But although we could learn those in our own time, in our own leisure, in our own pace, I think maybe integrating it in a lesson will be much more be productive. And so a little bit of example of those topic of header files will be appreciated by the students, because later on as we become programmers ourselves, we need to make and create our own header files to not only to group our functions, but also to make our code much more reliable and easier to read, because the moment that we make programs, our functions, our program might get bigger, and we need to group certain functions and put them in one file. And so that is my suggestion to at least include the topic of header files in the course. Although it is included, but maybe we don't have enough time to discuss, but I don't know. That was only my suggestion. And the last question is my what is your overall course assessment? My overall course assessment is that I really appreciate the effort of the of our professor and the committee that created this course for the student, because it helps me to understand a lot about computers and how computers work, how they are made to work, and what is the role of every programmer in in building computers and building applications and those kind of things. And so maybe beyond this course, I also learned that it it helps me to be more well-rounded person, in a sense that in our ministry we don't speak this kind of things, but nowadays I think that learning computers and computer programming is very important, because nowadays the world is getting more and more computerized, and our reliance on computers increases every day. And so maybe ministry in my field of profession does not really mean only to remain in terms of sacraments, like those kind of things, like sacraments and our apostolate, but also maybe ministry. For me, this is my own. This is my own opinion. Ministry also includes all facets of human person, and since computer becomes a major part of a human life nowadays, maybe we need to learn how computers work. And that is my overall assessment of the course. And I thank my professor, the department chair, and all of those people involved in creating this course for the students. Uh, this is really a big help to all of us. And I hope you you will help future students more by developing the course in a in a more Christian way. And so I thank you for all that, and for my classmates, I also thank you. And that's all. Good evening.